Boys and girls, I have to tell you something really interesting about those imaginal cells and what that means to me. Now, when I was a small child, my parents were immigrants from the Netherlands, and we lived in a rickety old rental home that the floors weren't even flat, they were kind of tilted. And I had a lot of time to explore because they were in business and our house was really dumpy. And there was a big cabinet in the kitchen. It was a rusted big metal cabinet. And I used to pretend that I was a scientist. I would take little graduated cylinders that my dad had because they used to clone, or not clone, but they used to grow orchids in flasks. And so I was taking all these little scientific biological flasks and putting things in there and growing mold and just pretending that I was a scientist. And I always wanted to share science with kids. So when I grew up, I went to college to become a teacher, but I wasn't able to specifically teach science to young children because that wasn't a possibility, it wasn't available as a major in college. So it wasn't until I was much older that I was actually able to create this little niche where I am teaching science to young children, and I love it. That's all I want to do. And so I must have had these imaginal cells in my little caterpillar body when I was a child, and I was imagining what I'd like to be someday, but I had to get rid of all of the caterpillar cells first. There were a lot of things in my life I needed to get rid of and do first, and I had to grow up and I had to mature and I had to learn a lot before I was ready to take on the challenge of teaching children and do a good job. So think about that. You're little and you have imaginal cells in you. And I want you to take some time and deep dive inside of you and wonder what you want to be, what God created you to be, so that when you grow up, you can just follow your passions and do everything you've ever wanted to do. So that's all I wanted to say about the imaginal cells. I just thought about that this morning. I thought, I think I've had imaginal cells in me.